Hi everyone, I am here to do a pregnancy update. I am 24 weeks and 1 day today. It's Thursday, so I turned 24 weeks yesterday. And not too much to update on the pregnancy. There was something that went on, so I'm going to go into that. Try to make it as short as possible. I'm on my way to the dentist. I've been away for a little bit. We had big snowstorms. The 1 week I was going to do an update. The next update I was supposed to do, we had big snowstorms. And then my daughter got sick. And then I got sick. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit. I am much better today. I completely lost my voice last week. And had horrible cough, horrible sore throat. It was just a viral cold that definitely turned into an infection. I woke up Monday and my husband's like, just call them, because I did go to the doctors. And on Friday he said call them, because my husband had the same cold. He had to get on antibiotics to get over it. Eventually had it for 3 weeks. My daughter had it, had to get on antibiotics to get over it. So I went ahead. I'm glad I did, because I got the antibiotics Monday, and yesterday what day did I get them? I got them Tuesday then. Yeah, so I waited till Tuesday. I got them on Tuesday. Yeah, so I really did. I waited it out. Anyways, started taking them Tuesday. Yesterday, Wednesday, I was miserable. Like, felt so much worse. So definitely needed them at that point. I'm feeling much better today. Not 100%, but definitely much better. Anyways, so yeah, that would explain why I've been away for a little while. Last week I had no voice, so you wouldn't have been able to hear me. I would have had a whisper. It literally hurt to talk. So yeah, so I'm 24 weeks. I'm feeling great. Before I got sick, I had like crazy dreams. Like dreams where it would be so concerning, like what was happening, that I would literally be crying and like wake up and be crying. Just crazy stuff. All right, weird dreams. I'm having Charlie horses, which they aren't in my calves, which normally is where they happen at. They're like in my foot. It is so weird. Like, if I just like turn them the wrong way, they'll just Charlie horse up. Ugh, it's pretty painful, but I've only had a couple of those. They say potassium and just being dehydrated will make them worse. So definitely keeping up on eating bananas and making sure I drink water. And the other thing, oh, swollen feet. So I'm getting a little bit of swelling in my feet and ankles by the end of the day, which is normal at this point. So, excuse me, yes. So dreams, Charlie horses, and swollen ankles. So that's basically all I'm dealing with. Everything else, I feel great. Nothing to complain about, really. So the one thing I did deal with is at my last appointment, my doctor wanted me to go off some medication that I had been taking. I'm going to try to make this short. It's something I haven't mentioned before. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it would go on for hours. But I was diagnosed with PCOS last year about this time. Probably February is when I saw her the first time, and she said, it's PCOS, here's some medication. So I got on metformin for my PCOS. And basically, I haven't mentioned it before because I suffer from PCOS very differently than most women, I think. I do ovulate, obviously, but just not all the time. And it does cause all the other symptoms that go along with it. So basically, like during the pregnancy with my daughter, like before my pregnancy with my daughter, my cycles have always been kind of screwy. They've always been at least 34 days, if not longer. I didn't really start to keep track until I met my husband, because there was just no need to keep track before that. And so when I met him, I started keeping track just loosely. I knew it was every 5 weeks, and there was always 2 or 3 cycles a year, 2 or 3 cycles a year that were longer than 5 weeks, or that I would completely skip altogether. But I just thought that's just how I am, or I attribute it to stress, or I don't know. That's just, I don't know. I just thought that's just the way it is. So when I was pregnant with my daughter, the only thing that I really noticed was how fast I gained weight. You know, I had gained a whole bunch of weight throughout college, and I lost it when I met my husband. I had a very, very, very active job, and I worked out, and I controlled my calories, so I was able to lose weight. When I got pregnant, it just, I don't know, I just felt like my metabolism just shut down. So for a long time, even after I had my daughter, I thought that it was thyroid. Every doctor I went to said it has to be thyroid. I had my thyroid checked at least a half a dozen times, and it was always, oh, your numbers look fine, you're fine. And then they wouldn't do any more investigation, wouldn't, you know, tell me, oh, let's go to this specialist or that specialist, nothing. I knew PCOS and underactive thyroid had a lot of overlapping symptoms. So, you know, but because I had had a baby, and I knew I did ovulate at least the majority of my cycles, I mean, how was I going to justify PCOS? So about 2 years ago, it was December and January 2 years ago, there was a major shift in my body. I not only gained 40 pounds in those 2 months, and you guys know I work out, I eat right. You know, even if I'm lax with my eating or lax with my working out, I'd been able to maintain my weight for a really long time. I'd gained 40 pounds, and I'm like, this does not make sense. So I was like, 40, like, that's ridiculous. Around the same time as the weight gain, I started spotting mid-cycle, and it wasn't mid-cycle, but it was mid-cycle. So I'll explain. So I would have my period for, you know, 5 to 7 days, depending, and I would stop completely. And then 5 or 6 days later, I would start spotting. And then the spotting would lead into my fertile week, which would lead to CM, and then I would ovulate, and then 2 weeks later my period would start. And this kept getting worse and worse. The spotting kept getting more severe. I noticed that if I worked out more intensely during those couple of days, my spotting was more intense, and it was painful. It was more painful than period cramps. It was painful. I would get horrible cramps, and the spotting was just, I mean, I had to wear something. I had to change it throughout the day. So it was a lot, and it was something I've never dealt with mid-cycle spotting ever in my entire life. So I knew there was a correlation. I kept looking up. There was other symptoms, the weight. I was losing hair on my head, but I was getting hair on my face and my chest. And those are the ones I can think of that are really sticking out. So I went to my OBGYN that I had seen. I had seen him for my yearly. I made an appointment because I had concerns. I went to him. I said, I've had my thyroid checked, over and over again. I'm concerned it's PCOS. He said, well, you've had a baby. You're fine. You're just getting older and stuff changes. And that was it. It kind of just shooed me out of the office. I kind of resigned myself. I was like, fine, whatever. Maybe this is just how it is. Maybe he's right. I don't know. You know, I've been to numerous doctors. No one investigates any further. Once the tests come back for thyroid, like, I don't know what to do. So I started ramping up my exercise, cutting out, you know, a whole bunch of calories, just really, really concentrating on losing weight. I'm thinking if it is PCOS, the spotting should stop if I lose the weight. That's what I had read. And so it was so frustrating. I was working out hardcore, eating 1,200 calories a day, if that. And I was losing like a pound a month, maybe. So I had stopped gaining, so that was good. But yeah, it was very frustrating. So anyways, fast forward to December, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to see a different doctor. I don't want to see him for my yearly and the other doctor. I'm going to try to find a different one. I did my research, found a good doctor. Saw her in February, I think, January, February, something like that. And told her my whole history, because this was the first time I was meeting with her. And she said, you have PCOS. I said, what? Because I wasn't even going in there looking for a diagnosis. I was just telling her my history. It was the first time I was seeing her. And she said, yes, if your thyroid has been tested and you're having these symptoms, you have PCOS. I told her that we were going to start trying to get pregnant. And she said, if you don't get treated, you're going to have miscarriages. So I was super excited. I was like, yes, someone is listening to me. Someone actually acknowledges what I'm talking about and has a solution. So, you know, we did the tests, got the medication. I was so excited. You know, my periods, the cycle length had got increasingly bigger. It was all the way to like 53 days at that point. In between, you know, my cycle length was getting like 53 days, 54 days, 55 days. I mean, it was just getting longer and longer. The minute I got on medication, boom, cycle length 34 days. To the penny, could predict it, didn't go anywhere else. Then what else happened? My hair started growing back. The bald spots on my head started going back. The spotting stopped completely. No more spotting. I mean, everything went back in line. So I definitely needed to be on the medication. I also was able to lose more weight. I mean, it still was a little difficult, but it wasn't as difficult. I mean, I knew, you know, what to do. So fast forward to 3 weeks ago when I had my last appointment. And she said, and I told her I was on my last script because she gave me a year's worth. So I was on my last script. She had told me before, you're going to get off the metformin to do the gestational diabetes test. And so I had asked her, I know you're not going to do the test till 27 weeks. I'm going to run out of medication before that. You know, are you going to give me a new script or what should I do? She goes, oh, you could just get off of it. You can just stop taking it. I said, okay. And she said, you don't need to be on it. We don't want to change your medication in the first trimester. That's why we keep you on it. And you can go ahead and go off it. And I said, well, I've done my research, and a lot of women report that they gain a bunch of weight when they go off of it in pregnancy, to the point where their doctors just keep them on it because, you know, the risks outweigh, you know, the benefits outweigh the risks. Not that there's any risk to be on it while you're pregnant. It's just they gain a whole bunch of weight when they're not on it. And she goes, no, that wouldn't do that. So you're fine. And we'll see where you are in a month and we'll assess the situation and go from there. I said, all right. She's my doctor. So in anticipation for me thinking that I'm going to gain a whole bunch of weight, I ramped up my workouts because I was feeling really good. So I was going to the gym every day. I had stopped taking it that day, and I was really watching my calories. Stopped taking it on a Tuesday. By Friday, I'd gained a pound. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. All right. No big deal. I'm not going to freak out. By Monday, I'd gained 2 more pounds. Wait a second. I've been off it for 5 days and I've gained 3 pounds. Then I started noticing that I wasn't sleeping at all. And my mood was horrible. I just was so depressed, didn't want to do anything, wanted to cry about everything, just completely depressed. And then my legs and feet were so swollen by Tuesday night, that I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk. And that's how my feet had been the whole time I was pregnant with my daughter. So yeah, I definitely feel like my body needs to be on it. So I was so desperate. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back on it. I'm going to test this theory. I'm just going to go back on it. It's only been 7 days, 6 days, 7 days. I'm just going to go back on it. So I went back on it. 2 days later, I was sleeping. My mood was better. My swelling had gone down to normal pregnancy swelling, not crazy pregnancy swelling. I did gain another pound, but since then, which I've been back on it for a week and a half, I have not gained anything. I'm like, it's gotta be the medicine. The medicine just keeps my metabolism in line. It's just the way it is. And to go back, I need to go back and add on another clue that something was going on with, you know, me having PCOS and everything is just a little tidbit here. And I know it's probably TMI, but it's a pregnancy update, so you guys already know TMI. My husband and I, from the time that we met, have never used protection. Now, I know my cycles very well, so I can kind of time it around my fertile time, and, you know, we would use the bare minimum protection, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's why we tried to have a baby right after we got married, because I figured it was going to take 6 months to a year, because we hadn't been trying to prevent it since we met. You know, I did try to go on birth control when I met him, and it just didn't agree with my body. And I tried 2 different kinds, and I was like, forget this. And him and I knew we wanted to be together. We knew we wanted to be parents. We knew the risks. We were able to take care of baby if something happened. So, no big deal. But, yeah. So, definitely feel like my body needs it. I've dealt with depression and anxiety my whole entire life, and on and off Zoloft since college, and this just puts everything in line, and I don't understand it. I don't know. I'm not a doctor or a scientist. I don't get it, but I know it works. So that's what I went through. I have enough pills to get me to 4 days before my next appointment, and that should be enough time for her to see the swelling of my legs and stuff. And I'm gonna tell her the only weight I gained was the week I was off the metformin. I gained like 4 pounds, and then I didn't gain anything. So I definitely need to be on it. I'm hoping that she just, because I think when I go to my appointment, I will be 25 weeks and 5 days, something like that. So, because I go see her on a Monday, my weeks flip on Wednesday. So, oh my goodness, I'm late for my appointment. All right, I'm done with the dentist. everything went good. Love my dentist. All right, so all I was saying really to finish up is I'm really hoping when I go to the doctor, she listens and sees that I just feel better when I'm on it. I definitely think there's a correlation between all my symptoms that I was feeling and not being on it. Maybe it was like a withdrawal type thing, but I don't know how long that would last, and I just don't want to do it. If it's okay to be on it, I just think it's better to stay. So I'm hoping that she does the gestational diabetes test, that same week. When I see her, I'll be off of it, the medication, for 4 days. So maybe she can do the gestational diabetes test at the end of the week, and then I can go back on it. Some women say that their doctors just skip the test altogether because when they stay on the medicine, because the medicine is a diabetic medication. So if you have gestational diabetes, it'll help. I don't know. I'll talk with her and see. I would just rather, she was going to do the gestational diabetes test when I was 27 weeks. I'll be 26 basically. 2 days away from 26. So yeah, I am really hoping that she does it and lets me stay on the medication, and I think she will. She's very reasonable. She definitely listens, and I don't think it's something where it was like psychosomatic, because there was other symptoms that I didn't know was going to happen that happened. So anyways, that's what I went through. I'm just praying that I can stay on the medication, because I definitely feel like it makes a difference. Anyways, that was my last couple weeks. Thanks for making it through the update. And my appointment's not next week, it's the next. So I'll update next week with how I'm feeling and doing. And then I'll update the next week on how my appointment went and whether or not I can stay on the medication, and when my glucose test is. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.